91. So this one's been a long time coming. This was a G35 that was brought into us that just wouldn't start, wouldn't run. We've had this car for a little bit of time, figuring everything out and slowly chipping away at it. So today and earlier this week, we got the Haltech Elite 2500 installed using the boom slang harness in there, and it's working out perfectly. So we've done a couple of these setups already on your 350s, G35s, the VQ35D applications, and it's the way to go in my opinion. It's one of my favorite budget standalone ECUs. And so this G, of course, is going to be running on flex fuel. We'll be able to have a switch, our rotary dial, so we can change boost control. So we're almost done. The focus for today is to get this thing running on 91 and seeing really what we've got for this engine. This engine supposedly is built. We do know it has head studs, and the biggest culprit why this thing wouldn't run is it had a broken camshaft. So this is a rev up, and we ended up redoing all the timing chain components and throwing in a set of the JWT camshafts. And so far, getting an idea of what we got, this thing's doing pretty good. So we'll have different duty cycles for each rotary trim setting. And so far we're at 11 pounds of boost, 91 octane, 455 wheel, and about 430 foot-pounds of torque. So there's definitely more in it. Listening to the knock sensor, it sounds really, really good. No sign of knock yet. So we'll keep inching away until we hear a little bit of knock, and then we'll know where our threshold is for 91. So once we get that all wrapped up, we can do our E85, our flex fuel tuning. So I'm just waiting on one patch harness because there's a lot of inputs that are being used by the drive-by-wire, all that stuff. We are out of inputs, so I'm just waiting for one patch harness. We'll have to use that I/O box from Haltech. So we're using that for our rotary trim dial and also for our flex fuel input. So yeah, let's go take a look at what we've got so far, and we'll see what we're doing. So again, this car has the Greddy twin turbo kit on it, the Mitsubishi TB06 turbos. I'm pretty sure that these twin turbo kits have, but let's take a look. So under here, pretty standard fare, nothing too crazy. Again, we redid all the timing chain components. We got rid of the foam air filters that the Greddy kits have. I'm not a huge fan of those things. They fall apart. They disintegrate. I like to call them the mushroom of death. So what we did is we modified inlet tubes, and we've got some K&N filters in here. So this nice little complement, get rid of that foam filter. And what we've also done is we've installed our VQ35DE flex fuel kit, so the customer will also be able to monitor ethanol content via Bluetooth on their phone. And of course, it's sending a signal to our Haltech ECU. We've got integrated boost control, CJM return fuel system, and again, the big mystery is we don't know how far modified the engine is. So obviously, because we're able to make really good power so far on 91 octane, we can definitely say that it's got upgraded pistons that are lower compression. So I'd venture to say somewhere in the 9 to 1 range. No sign of knock so far, but everything is working out really, really good. Let's take a look at the dyno sheet. So let's take a look, and here's what we've got. So far, our 6-pound setting, we're about 20% duty cycle. Our 8-pound setting is 30, and our 11, almost 12-pound is about 40% duty cycle. So we've got plenty of duty cycle left to go up with 85. We're gonna step it up another 10 on the next pass. You can see the different power that we're making at the different boost. So 455 and almost 430 torque. Really, really good numbers so far for 11 and a half pounds of boost. So we'll get back at it. We'll make some adjustments on the Haltech, and we'll make another pass. So while we're waiting for our cable from Haltech, we've gone ahead and finished all our 91 octane tuning, and pretty surprised with the results. I honestly didn't want to go crazy pushing it, and I still didn't reach that threshold of knock where I could hear anything with my headphones. But nonetheless, I kind of want to stop. We're peaking at about almost 16 pounds of boost right now, 91, and we're already making almost 520 wheel and 480 foot-pounds of torque. So the little VQ35DE that could. So we know that the motor is doing its job. So we're happy with that. We will switch over to E85 and we'll push it a little bit more. But again, this thing wasn't even running at all. Customer could never even enjoy it. So here we are making really good power, and we're gonna hand them off 600 to 700 horsepower car. So I'm ecstatic about the results so far. All right, guys, we've got this 2013 GTR strapped down on the dyno. The goal for today is to calibrate it. So we're just going over a few things. This car has already been tuned before. It was on Cobb, and we are converting it over to Ecutech now. So one thing that caught my eye, because it does have your GFB combo recirculation and blow-off valve, is does it have a speed density kit? And if so, let's take a look at it. And it does. However, I've never seen this done before, but the combination T-map sensor, so temperature and pressure sensor, is installed on bank number 2. So the issue with that is, if you take a look, here is the piggyback adapter harness. You'll notice, and the same thing with the factory, this is the factory portion right here, right? This is a 3-wire connector. So you're basically getting your power, your ground, and your signal. So just for airflow readings. The issue is we're not getting intake air temp to the ECU because you don't have the additional 2 wires you need to get the intake air temp reading. So this has to be moved over to bank number 1, because take a look here and you'll see what I'm talking about. See how bank 1 MAF connector, you have your additional 2 wires for your air temp reading. So this side is what gets and picks up your ambient charge air temps, whatever it is. Right now, the mass airflow sensor is just getting your ambient temps, right? You're not getting charge air temps. So the reason we do the SD conversion kits is so we can get, charge air temperature in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna swap our sensors over so that we get the charge air temp reading we need for the ECU calibration. All right, guys, we've wrapped up the calibration on this GTR full bolt-on E85. Again, we have taken it from Cobb. We've removed the Cobb access port and we've gone to Ecutech. We switched over the speed density kit over to bank 1 to make sure we actually are reading our charge air temps. So all that stuff has been fixed. We did like a brake bleed on this thing, some maintenance on top of it, and everything's exactly where it needs to be. Really nothing too crazy. FBO 85 car, so numbers are right where they need to be. So let's go take a look at them. All right, guys, so on 91 octane, we were able to make almost 570 wheel, 567, and exactly the same amount of torque, 567. We got it all switched out. We pumped all the 91 out of it, got our ethanol content up to about 74%, and we made 634 wheel with 625 foot-pounds of torque. So again, exactly right where it needs to be. This thing is going to be driving so much nicer with all these little corrections that we've done with it, especially now that we've switched over to Ecutech. So let's go take it for a ride.